Well, hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today is going to be a deep dive into making your own paper fork. I know this has been a very requested topic and I just want to give you a quick heads up. This is not a simple thing. If you have never coded in Java before, God forbid you continue and you attempt at doing that, because it is going to be a killer. And if you have little to no, let's say, general Minecraft plugin development experience, I do recommend you make at least a few of your Minecraft plugins first before even attempting to make a microserver fork. As much as this topic is very attractive to many, it is very complex, especially working with patches. So without any further ado, I decided to make an entire article about it so that you can follow together, as well as I'm going to be posting any updates as Paper's process on patching will improve in the future. So check out the link below this video. It goes to Mine Academy website. The article is very simple: how to fork paper and working with patches. I already have given you a quick warning about them. Now, before we start here, in this video, I really want to cover 4 things. So how to clone paper from GitHub, how to edit files that do not require a patch, how to edit NMS files, and how to actually make a patch. And then last but not least, some of you guys may want to add contributions to paper, so how to actually submit a PR, a pull request back to them. Now, what we're going to do is we want to have the following requirements. So again, basic understanding of Java and a Minecraft ecosystem. If you want to learn it, I'm going to leave a link to a full class that combines Java and Minecraft together below in the video description. If you don't have an IDE with Gradle support, I do recommend getting IntelliJ. I'll get back to that later. If you're using IntelliJ, I will be checking if you have everything there in a sec. And then lastly, we need something called Git. So I'm going to leave a link to that too on the blog post. And you simply head over to this website, download it for your platform, and then in your terminal, if I open up my command prompt on Windows, if you type in Git, and by the way, this should be the same for Linux or macOS, it should print out things like that. And that means that you've installed Git properly. If it doesn't, do not continue watching this video, fix that first. Now, I do recommend using GitHub desktop client, which looks like this in many of my videos. However, I actually figured out it is not the best when it comes to working with patches. There will be some steps which, if you try doing that in this client, it will go wrong. So be very careful, follow this video, and then you can use the client a little bit at the beginning, maybe a little bit at the end, to get a general overview of how things work, but definitely do not attempt to add and commit files through it when it comes to patches, because they will not work properly. So the first step is very simple, just to get paper from GitHub to your computer. So I'm going to copy this link from the article. If you don't want to copy that, you can just head over to their official repository. You can copy the URL as well. Then head over to GitHub desktop or use a terminal, depends on your preference. At this point, both work just fine. So I'm going to do clone URL, paste it here, paste it in my workspace, clone, and wait. Now also make sure you are on the main branch. So right now there is a new branch with the upcoming Minecraft version, which for you may be a little bit different, but I do recommend you just work on the most updated branch for simplicity's sake. Now, the next step is to head over to your IntelliJ. If you already have a project there, head over to the hamburger menu, click close, and then here just click open, navigate to your workspace folder or wherever you've placed the paper folder, click it, select folder, and open it. Now, big warning here. You must have a Gradle plugin installed. Some of my students actually have deinstalled that extension. If you're not using it, it's a good idea actually not to have it, because it will save performance and memory usage of your IntelliJ. But this project is using Gradle instead of Maven, which both very similar build tools. And to make sure that it is enabled, all you have to do is click on the gear button, head over to plugins, and then head over to installed, and then type in Gradle here, and make sure that the Gradle and Gradle extension are both on. If it's not on, it's actually a good idea to do that before you open up the project. Now, this process is going to take a while, especially on slower computers or slower internet, especially the first time. So be prepared to wait. As you can see, for me, it already there was a small loader. It already disappeared, but for you, it may take a bit longer. Next step is head over to the main menu, click View, and then Appearance, and make sure you have tool window bars, so that right now you'll see the Gradle icon popping here. If I click it, you'll notice the tasks being opened. So there's 2 different tasks, and this is very similar to Maven clean install, but Paper has prepared their own tasks that are specially designed to work with the server software. So the first thing we need to run is under Minecraft patching, and this is a very simple task. It's called apply patches. So you can just right click it, click run, and wait until it says build success. Quick warning, if you mess up, especially with the branches, and you change the branch and then you change it back, if at any point anything fails this early in the process, all you're gonna do is really close the project in IntelliJ, delete the folder, delete the Paper folder right here, and then head over to your users folder and then delete the .m2 and delete .gradle. These folders are massive. There's like 50,000 files. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. Everything has to be compiled on your computer. So if you run into any issues this early, just do a full cleanup and then re-download everything again. Awesome, this is now done. The second task I want you to be running is under bundling, and it says create Moi map bundler jar. So right click, run it, and again, wait until it says done. We can, in the meanwhile, open up the Paper folder, and we can open up the Paper server folder, inside of which there is a build file, which is roughly an equivalent to the target folder in Maven. And if you open it, there should be, after the build completes, there should be a lib folder. And inside of this folder, there's going to be a massive file containing everything together, which you can actually run, and this is going to be your server. As you can see, Paper is currently building it, and now it says build successful, and now you can see I'm having an almost 100 megabyte file. So I can just copy it, open up my testing servers, and then let's just go ahead, replace the old file with this one. Let's check it out, how it's going to run, if everything is running properly, and you can just use your standard launching scripts to run it. I do have an article on Mine Academy on how to even get these launching scripts for different operating systems. If you are a beginner, I don't think you should be working with patches, but if you are a beginner here, just check the article and grab these files. Now, as you can see, this server is actually fully loaded, and this is not Paper from the internet. This is our own clone or a fork of Paper, which is really cool. All I'm going to do is type in version or ver. Yeah, so for some reason it did not work for me, but that's okay because this is just connecting to the internet. The entire server works just fine. The only difference you'll notice, it says dev here, and then the timestamp is wrong. But otherwise, the server is pretty much identical to the one that you'll be getting from the internet. So now that's done, let's actually try to make any changes. Now, you'll notice that the Paper folder is huge. And this is because basically Paper builds on top of Spigot, which already works with patches. Spigot builds on top of Bukkit, and then Bukkit builds on top of the vanilla, copyrighted, good old school NMS Minecraft server. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the structure, I do recommend you check out my Minecraft plugin development playlist. Video number 1 or video number 2 pretty much explained these hierarchies or these structures. Now, how it works is that there is a Paper server and there's a Paper API. The API is basically what you will be making your plugin against. And it is very simple to edit at this point. All you have to do is open up main, Java. You'll notice everything is here. There is no patches, thank God. And if, let's say, you want to change something, let's say in the player interface from the org bucket entity, and let's say we want to add boolean is cool, and then I'm gonna say Mine Academy fork start. This is also a good practice, and you'll notice if you read the contributing file right here, you'll notice that they explicitly tell you to make comments like that, PR policy and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna, make sure that it is compliant. And if you make change in the API, it's actually very simple. All you have to do is commit it normally. As you can see, GitHub client has no problems with that. All you're gonna do is commit it, and then you can try pushing it. It's not gonna work. You have to actually make a fork of this, and then you can open up a pull request. So changes in the API, very, very simple. All you're gonna do is the same process as with any other project on GitHub. Now, when it comes to changes in the actual server, those are split into 2 categories. Number 1, no patches required. I believe in the main package, and I may be wrong, so if there is an expert below in the video, please don't make a hater comment. Just tell people what to do better, because I'm not a paper developer, but I use my best practices or my best knowledge to do that. So basically, anything in Java, in theory, you could be editing that directly too. So let's say we need to find where is the entity, and here I need to go to craft player, and now I have to actually implement this very method is cool, otherwise it will not work. So again, guys, head over back to Minecraft plugin a development series, video 1 or video 2, to understand why there is a player API interface that is implemented by the craft player class, but that's just how it works. The craft player is directly connected to NMS, whereas the player is just for developers to connect to. And here I'm just going to return, let's say I'm cool, so I'm going to say true. And again, Mine Academy fork start, Mine Academy fork end, just to mark that this part of the code has been done by me. And then you'll notice that again it appears here. So all we have to do at this point is just create a school property. That's it. Commit to main, and then you can push it. If it's your own fork, you can just push it. That's it. We're now done. Now, the problem is if you want to edit NMS. Now, let's say that we want to get rid of the annoying not secure message that appears in the console every single time I'm typing something if my server does not enforce secure profile, which basically means I do not want my chat to be reported to Microsoft, which is a great thing, but Minecraft decided to have that little warning there to encourage people to have it enabled. So I'm going to search for not secure here, and you'll notice that this message appears in 2 different places, chat processor, and then the other one is player list. So I'm going to open up this one. Let's just say for quick demo, I'm going to change this to very secure just for fun. Of course, if you want to get rid of it, just type null here, just as this first condition is. And then not secure. Let's edit this the second time. Very secure like this. Mine Academy, very secure. And then paper has some other changes there. Now, you'll notice that, first of all, we've edited 2 places. GitHub client only detects 1. And this one is actually the main folder, which is great. Let's not touch it. Let's explain why the NMS is not rendered in the GitHub client. This is because they use, if you open up the main repository inside gitignore, there is paper server source Minecraft is actually excluded. Why this is the case? Well, because these files in the NMS, they are copyrighted, and it's not legal to push them to GitHub and edit directly on top of them and make changes. This is simply because Minecraft, Mojang, the company behind Minecraft, has decided as such. Judge it good or bad, we have to work around this, and working with patches simply means that you can publish only the relevant lines that are being changed. Legally, it is still a gray zone, but at least it is defensible, whereas if you just dump the entire licensed product on your GitHub repository, of course, it can get taken down easily. So that's the biggest reason. Now, how to work around it? First of all, you have to know where the player list file is being edited. So what we can do, we can just right click it, go to copy path, copy absolute path, and then we can open up Git and we can cd inside that folder. That actually doesn't work because I've also included the class here. So let me just delete back to the folder itself. There we go. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be typing git add and then a little dot. And if that doesn't work for you for some strange reason, it means that the terminal has not been opened in Git. So there's a quick hack that I like to do. I like to head over to GitHub desktop, click repository, and then open in the command prompt. And this one will make sure to do that properly. And make sure that it is initialized properly. So right now, there we go. If I type cd and I head over to the folder, it works just fine. And now I can just type git add and then dot, which simply will add all of the changed files from that folder or from that package, if you will, and it's going to bypass that git ignore. I don't care about GitHub client right now because this is where the GitHub client doesn't catch things. So now that we have that, all we have to do is commit it manually. So I'm going to type in git commit and then -m and then my message, let's say change not secure to very secure, and brackets, make sure to put your commit message in double quotes, hit enter, and if you've done it right, it should properly detect that we've only really edited one file, and there was one insertion, one deletion. If you do changes in multiple NMS files, then you have to CD, and again, my understanding may be limited at this point, but you have to CD and use this setup, git add, and then cd and git add into every single goddamn NMS folder. You can do git commit at the end for all of them, that's fine, but make sure to cd and then add these files one by one like that, otherwise it may or may not work. So now that we have that, actually I wanted to give you one other tip. You'll notice that not all of these NMS classes in Source Minecraft Java, not all of the NMS classes are available here. Right? What do you do if you want to get an NMS class here that is not there, but you know that it is in the server, but Paper simply does not export it? Well, you have to open up the contributing guide. And for some strange reason, the part of the article that I wanted to show you does not appear in the contributing file. So I actually have to go to github.com/papermc/paper, and then I've read the contributing file here. And if you just type in, I can't find the NMS file, it's going to explain how to get it. And it does involve editing the dev-imports and then applying patches. If you do that, however, make sure to commit everything you have already done, otherwise you will lose all of your changes if you click apply patches. So if you need to edit it, make sure to follow this video and then actually do the edit in the dev imports at the end, otherwise you'll lose your changes that I just showed you how to make. Now, let's say we want to create a patch. How do we do that? Well, let's head over to tasks, Minecraft patching, and let's click, instead of clicking apply patches, let's actually click rebuild patches. Let's run it. And what's going to happen behind the scenes is that the paper script, the build script for Gradle, is going to run through all of these changes, all of these things that you've committed, and it's going to convert them into a single patch. As you can see here in my GitHub client right now, it'll literally say we've made a new patch 0032, so there's an automated ordering to change not secure to very secure, and as you can see, my patch is now ready. Now check it out. It even automatically updated indexes in these three other patches just to make sure that the order of them is correct, and I can still see that the commit that I've made here is still available because that one does not require a patch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in change not secure to very secure. I'm going to commit it, and then let's try applying these patches just to make sure that everything works. If you've done everything properly, at least in this very class, if you've done everything properly, it should stay at very secure. If you do something wrong here, it will get reversed back to not secure. Reason being, there is already an older patch that is editing this very line. As you can see, the paper has commented here. So this is a good indication that you've done everything properly. Now, I've clicked apply patches. My line did not get changed, which is great. That means that everything is fine here. And all I have to do again is run the bundler jar. And then let's test it in the game. Let's see if there are changes. By the way, some people can't see the build success message, and it's because you've clicked some of these sections when the paper task is running. If you've done that, just click the top section right here, and now you can see the entire log. Also, don't worry about these red things. These are just warnings. And the most important thing for us is that it says build successful. As you can see, even on my computer, it still takes 1 minute 38 seconds. So be patient with that. Now that is done. Let's just copy paste it, start the server, and see all the changes. So let me just type in hello. And now instead of saying not secure, we have a beautiful, very secure prefix in the console. So everything is fine. We've now worked together onto creating our own patch, and we've actually forked paper. So as last thing of this video, as I promised, I'm going to be showing you how to make a pull request to paper. It's actually very simple. I'm going to be using my good friend GitHub client, which sometimes fails but mostly doesn't. So I'm going to be clicking push. It says I don't have write access. Well, thank God, otherwise I'd be pushing some weird things here behind the scenes when I was testing and learning this. So what I'm going to be clicking is fork this repository. your account token has been invalidated. It means your account has been hacked. All right, guys, let me make a cut. Let me fix that. Also, now in the next screen, make sure to select to contribute to the parent project if you plan on doing that, and click continue. And now if I click push origin, it should indeed push to my own fork. And if I go into Kangaroo, my GitHub profile, and then paper, as you can see right now, I can see this is the exact fork of paper, but 2 of my commits are here. Wonderful. Now let's go back to the official paper. Let's go to pull requests. Let's go to new pull request. And then you need to be clicking compare across forks here. And then the base, please leave it as it is. And then head, just select your own repository. And if you've done everything properly, as you can see here, there is 2 commits, and it'll even display the changes. If you click the magic button, I'm not going to click it. Obviously, we do not want to be submitting, joke or sample requests like that. Please make sure to read the contributing guide. It will explain what they want to accept, what they want to see, how you're supposed to be working when you want to prepare a pull request to paper. Guys, make sure to always, always, always test your changes. And I'm going to leave you with the final note. If you're making a high performance fork, okay, and with a little bit of skepticism, because I've seen too many of them, the issue with these high performance forks is you'll be ripping off something from the main thread. You'll be thinking, oh, I'll just run it asynchronously, and then you'll break 15 other things. 15 other things requires you to fix 15 other things, and each of these have 5 dependencies. So now you're at 15 times 5, which is 75 things. And all of these 5 dependencies, let's say, have 2 different more dependencies. So now you're at 150, if I've done the math properly. So the problem is you'll start changing one small thing, and it's going to lead you to actually having to rewrite half of the entire server code, which is impossible because it's really, really huge. So be very careful. If you're a beginner, I would recommend just go make micro plugins. You can do that for fun as a hobby project for your own. That's cool. But if you want to make like the next big fork, just understand that it's not that simple. And one small change in the NMS, it's going to open up so many loopholes because everything is interconnected that it's going to cause you a headache, and probably something that you thought it's going to take you 1 hour to do, it's going to take you 1 month. And even then there's going to be instability issues. So just a big warning. Having said that, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Give it a nice thumbs up. Comment below if you have any tips on how to improve this process, how to make it simpler. Comment below how it went for you. And then also drop me below your beautiful fork repository. And if you want to learn coding, Java, click below in the video description. Check out my coding classes. And I can't wait to see you again in the next video.